Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. In this video, I will demonstrate 6 practical ways to create unique journal pen holders using a variety of different materials and methods. So there's something here for everyone. You can see some book pages, you can see some scrapbook paper, some fabric and lace, and so much fun stuff. These are gorgeous additions to your handmade journals. They make a fun little gift idea, think Christmas, and they bring a little bit of joy. Why? Because they're beautiful, practical, and easy to make. All right, let's get started. The very first project I'm going to show you is this one here. This is really covering the basics, and then we'll move on to the fun stuff. So first of all, you can use any size paper to make this. I will demonstrate that as well, but I'll start off with using the 6x6 paper. And we'll make this simple one here first. And really, you can mass make these because they're so easy and quick, as you're about to find out. You can mass make them, you can have them ready for Christmas. Perfect. This is your opportunity to start getting ready. All right, so all we're going to do here is fold it into 3s, just like this. We're making like a little pocket. And you don't need to measure anything, and nothing has to be perfect. You just kind of want to fold it. And now what we're going to do is fold these bits down. You can see on this one how it's folded down. Now I'm thinking I should have had it the other way because the writing is not going the right way. So I'll just do this, and then I have my writing the right way, and then I'll fold it down this way. So we fold one down, and then we fold this one down. And now you have this kind of thing going on. So this paper is a little bit difficult to see on video, but you see what's going on here. All right, now I'll ink some edges. I wonder if inking these edges will make it a little bit more obvious. And yes, it does. Okay, and now all you have to do is glue. And look at that, there's the little pen holder. So let's glue it down. First, I'm going to glue this one to this one. And then I'm going to apply glue on these 2 sides and a little bit up here as well. And then I'm going to glue this flap down. You can glue this one down too. I might as well before the glue has dried. It doesn't really matter. And there we go. Okay, and that one's ready to go. Put my pen in there, and you can leave it simple. You can add a little bow. I'm going to add a bow. And look at that. How cute is this idea for little stocking fillers and little Christmas presents for your colleagues and family and whatnot. And you can very easily make a whole lot at a time. All right, so this was a very basic kind of a fold 6x6 paper. And now you can take that many different ways, as I'm about to show you. So if you don't have a 6x6 paper, like I said, you can use any type of paper, and you don't have to do that. You can do something like this. So let me show you how I made this one. All right, here is a rectangle piece of paper. Now this one is quite thick. I recommend using thicker paper, but not quite cardstock. This one's almost cardstock, and it is a little bit too thick because what happens is the paper cracks, as you can see here on the sides, which is okay because you can always ink those edges or whatnot. But something like this would probably work a little bit better. it's paper, it's not cardstock, and it's not very flimsy. So you want some weight to your project. But I have this thing and I'm kind of set on using it. So I'm going to use it. All right, I'm going to fold this again in threes. And I'm really kind of being very approximate here because I don't want to start measuring things and being precise. So I've just folded it there. That probably could have gone in a bit more. And you can see what I mean, the paper is cracking. So I'm just gonna keep going with it regardless. Okay, now that that's folded in three, I'm gonna fold this down. I mean, essentially we're making any type of a pocket here. It doesn't have to be a pen holder, or in this case a pencil holder. And in fact there's, you know, obviously it's a larger pocket so you can fit more than one pen. I'm going to make this one even more fun, and I'm going to leave this section here as a little pocket. So I'll punch a little notch here, just like so. And now I'm going to glue this just on the two sides here. We can leave this here as a little tuck spot. Excellent. And now this is ready to be glued down. So all we have to do is glue here and here. But I want to bring that glue all the way there at the edge so that it's not taking up much space. So as you will notice when I show you this one here, when you put your pens inside, of course they're going to want to expand the pocket, if that makes sense. So I didn't want to glue too much in because then I would lose space. And now, because the cracking of the paper is really bugging me, I am going to use a bit of paint. This happens to be a paint pen. You can ink the edges and whatnot, but I found that inking doesn't work all too well. So I'm just going to do this. Make it kind of look intentional. There are always ways. Now I'm going to glue this flap down, but I'm going to leave that open. And essentially that's it, that's done. So you can have your pens or pencils in there. I'm gonna have to wait for it to dry, and I'm planning on putting like a large piece of paper in here. And now I'm going to embellish it. So in case if you're wondering how I did this, I'm going to do that next. So first of all, I have this beautiful trim, which I realize not everybody will have this kind of thing, but fret not, because there's plenty of other options which I'm going to show you very soon. But first of all, I kind of measure approximately how much I need. This is somewhat fiddly business, but this is how it's done. So now I'm going to apply glue. You can do this with lace, you can do it with trim, any type of trim. You can use anything really at this stage to make it a bit more fun, or you can just use washi tape, or you can leave it as it is. All right, now more glue here. And more glue here. All right, that's all very messy now, but I am going to hide all of that messiness, of course, with washi tape. This beautiful washi tape is from the washi tape shop. I will leave a link down below with some coupon codes if you want to have a look at this particular washi tape. But of course you can use anything you have on hand, like I said before, lace and whatnot. I'm just cutting this out because I don't want the straight line of the washi tape. Here comes the washi tape, right over the top, hide all the ugliness. And of course at the back as well. And now I take this to my sewing machine. This is, of course, you know, totally up to you if you want to do that. If not, you can just leave it as it is. It does have glue underneath, so it's not going to be going anywhere. But I really like to be on the safe side and just secure that down and go to my sewing machine. You could potentially also do a stitch here. I'm not gonna. It's really unnecessary. I'm just going to do a quick little thing down here. All right, here I am at my sewing machine, and I have just obviously moved everything out of the way, and I'm just going to go sewing straight down and kind of keeping everything out of the way. I'm done. So really easy and simple, right? I've backstitched so I can completely remove these threads, and perfect. Perhaps I can do a little note in the back pocket. Perhaps it can be a bookmark or whatever. And then I can pop in some pens in there. And there we go, done. Making it just a little bit more fun. That looks like a little bit more fun. All right, anyway, I'm gonna call this one done. And I'm quite happy with it, and so easy to make, isn't it? Just, I'm sure you've thought of this already yourself. Okay, so now I want to show you this one here. So these are all paperclip little bookmarks, and we will come back to that. First, what I wanted to show you is how to make this smaller version. So you can see this one here we've just made. Well, that's this one here. So we've done that one. What if you wanted to do a more narrow version for one pen, even though this is kind of for one pen anyway, but you can see how this is these on the sides are smaller than the one in the middle. We're going to do that next. It's very easy and quick, and it's also using 6x6 paper, but of course, as I said before, any paper will work. All right, so we're going to fold it in half. By the way, to stop the cracking, if you didn't know, you want to fold along the grain. So when you take a piece of paper, you can check which way folds easier. So whichever way folds easier is along the paper grain. Like here, I can feel resistance. Here, less resistance. So I'm going to fold this way. That helps with the whole cracking of the paper issue. In fact, I'm going to fold this way because I want this to be my outside. I like this side better. So you fold it once, then you fold it into the crease, almost to the crease. So you can't see the crease. I'm going to do this, and this is not going to be visible anyway. So now we're folding again, but we're only folding the corner in almost to the crease. And then we're folding this part in. See that? So we fold it in half, and then fold the corner down, and then fold that part down. And now we're going to go over here. You see that? Very, very easy. And now this one comes over the top, just like so. And then we fold this one. You can either fold it down, so you can have it looking like this, if you wish. I mean, you know, you can do lots of things. Or you want to fold it almost to the crease. And you're done. And that's this one here, this size. And then of course you take it where you want it to go from here. Like, I'll show you all the things that I've done. But first I want to finish this one off. So as you can see, this piece of paper is a little bit shorter than the edge. So I like to just swap them around, and I like to have it this way. And I also like to ink the edges, all the edges that are visible, because everything just stands out a bit more and just looks better. And now you want to glue this down. So first of all, the most important thing is gluing the bottom down so that when you put your pen in, it doesn't fall through. Even though that's, you know, perhaps you have a longer pen like this that you want to you want it to go all the way through. So you can do that too. You can just glue the side here. All right, I'm going to glue the bottom down. That's the main one that needs to be glued down, because when the pen goes inside, that's kind of when it stops. So you don't really have to worry about this, but you can if you want to. Now I'm going to glue this down and this edge, and maybe a little bit up here too, and glue it on top of that one. And press down. I'm picking up any seeping glue here. And perfect, this is ready to go for a little pen or pencil. You can leave it as it is, or you can further embellish it. So I'm going to show you what I did here just to give you ideas. And then I'm going to show you how to do the paperclip thing. If you want your pen holder to be a paperclip, you can paperclip it onto the cover of your book or whatnot. We're going to do that next. It's really simple. But for embellishing ideas, you can see down the bottom of this one, I have eyelets, and then I have all these little charms, and I have gold hearts, and that's it for that one. And kind of goes with this pen, you know, with the gold heart. I think it looks really cute and a beautiful little gift. This is a gift kind of a thing, you know. Then on this one here, this one was folded down, the first method that I've shown you. I also punched out some hearts and then added this This is actually a hidden paper clip, so you can't see the paper clip anywhere. You can't see it anywhere. And I'll show you how to do it. Well, you can't see the paper clip anywhere, but actually it is a paper clip. And once it's paper clipped on, it's not going anywhere. I'll tell you how to do that in a moment. And then I've got this kind of thing happening. And for this one here, fancy little thing, it kind of looks a little bit boho, doesn't it? It looks beautiful, again, as a gift. Just embellishing, you know, that's all it is. This is just scrapbook paper that I went ahead and I added all of these details, different scrapbook paper. I have this fancy pen from Kmart, and then I did this kind of thing down the bottom with the little gold and bronze tassels. I've punched some holes and popped those through, and that's all there is to it. I think it looks quite fabulous, really. All right, so now let me show you how to do the paperclip thing. I'm going to do the same method that I have just shown you, just to reiterate. And you can use single-sided paper for this because this side won't be visible at all. This paper is slightly larger. It's 6.5 by 6.5, so it's going to be a tiny little bit larger than the previous one. So we've got that. Then we have this. Then we have this. How easy and quick. Then we have this. And I'm going to fold that in and put this one over the top, and done. Ink away. And now you need a paper clip, which you're going to put over the top here. I like to put the shorter side on the inside and the longer side on the back, just like so. Next, you grab some type of an offcut that will go well. This one looks good. Oh, and it's the perfect size too. Excellent. Perhaps I don't need quite the whole piece. And now we're simply going to glue this over the top to hide that paper clip. Go all the way up and squeeze right into the paper clip so that, you know, it looks nice and neat and there's no bulging, gaping spaces. Okay, and now we do the same thing as we've done before. We're going to glue this one down and glue this one right over the top. Get any seeping glue, and that's great. Let it dry for a little bit before you put your pen in. And the first time you put your pen in, there's going to be resistance here, so I can't actually do it now because it's still not dry. But see how when you have the pen in there, then it kind of shapes around the pen. So what you want to do when it's completely flat like this, just kind of open it a bit, maybe put your finger in there and then do this, and then you have no issue. Whereas now when this is all completely glued down, it's kind of, you know, there's a little bit of resistance there, but it's not glued yet, so I can't really put the pen in there yet. And now you can embellish it, of course. And of course there's lots of things that you can do. I love adding little things down the bottom. This kind of looks out of balance to me because we have this tiny little opening here and this whole section here with nothing happening. So I feel like it needs to be counterbalanced with something, and that's why I went in with something in the middle and something on the bottom, and stickers. Stickers are the easy kind of thing to do. So perhaps I can do some stickers. I mean, the ideas really are endless as to how you embellish your pockets. So I'm not going to dwell on that aspect too much. But I did want to finish this one just a little. I don't know if I don't like this thing here now. I'm not going to dwell. I will perhaps add something later on down the track, down here. Put a pen in there. I mean, it looks fine just as it is. I feel like it's missing something down here. So maybe I can do like just punch out some holes. I don't even have to have things hanging down or eyelets. Maybe I can do that now. Let's see how it's going to look. There we go. Anyway, it's a little something. It's not too bad. I can go in and add little charms, but I'm going to leave it here for now. Actually, I do want to show you how to do the hidden paper clip. I might do that later on, actually. I do have a whole video on hidden paper clips, so I'm going to link that down below. That's not actually pen pockets, but it's just hidden paper clips. But Anyway, I'll link it. I'll come back to this if I have time at the end of the video to show you how you can hide, you know, because you can't cover this with scrapbook paper because you need this section open. So we'll come back to that. For now, I want to move on to the next idea, which is fabric and lace. This is really cool, really fun and easy to do. And again, I think it looks beautiful. And believe it or not, this here is actually a pen. It looks like a key. Very cute. Anyway, so we're using fabric and lace, but still it's on cardstock. Actually, it's on a cereal box. So for this project, you will need a little bit of fabric, a little bit of lace or trim. I'm using this beautiful little trim that I have, but you can use a wide lace that then you can cut down, which is what I've done with this one here. So this lace was wide like this. You can use a curtain, you know, and just after it's all sewn, you cut it down. For this project, yes, I will say that you probably do need your sewing machine, even though it can be done with glue only. Next thing you need is some cardstock. I'm using a cereal box here, so this is perfect because it's nice and clear background, and then this is going to be covered anyway. I've cut it down so it's easier to work with. Next thing you want is your fabric. And shock horror, I'm using a glue stick, which really I don't trust at all to keep anything in place long term, but this is only short term, so I'm going to glue my fabric down onto that glue stick. Just glue it down. Glue it down. Oh no, Annie's back again. All right, and sort of cut around so I can get rid of that sticky stuff. And it is at this stage where I like to ensure that I have a straight piece that I'm working with, and also cut it down to size, because this perhaps is a very large pen holder, probably too big for my liking, so I'm just going to trim it down. So here we go. Trim those sides, and that fabric also comes away perfectly. I am using just a standard box cutter. You can use, you know, what I'm trying to say, I guess, is that you glue your fabric onto cardstock first and then you cut down, and it actually is much easier to do it that way rather than cutting your fabric down precisely and then gluing it onto the cardstock. I think this is about, I just remembered I actually need my thing to be exactly the same width, and this is actually a little bit shorter, but it will do. And now cut this down. I want it to be the same size as the previous ones that I've made, just so it's more pleasing to the eye when I put it on screen. You do you. That's done. That's ready to go. Next thing you need is your lace or your trim or whatever you're using. I'm going to fold this edge, and I have glue all over my hand, so ignore that. But while I'm at it with the folding of the edge thing, I am going to add a little bit of something extra just to, I don't know why do I add this? It's really not necessary, but I do like the look of this, you know? So that's why I'm going to add it. And now I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and just do a straight stitch across, nothing fancy. All right, here we go, done. So that's sewn on, and now I'm going to trim this off. Minor little details, you can go ahead and just use paper, you know, on top of this, or just put down lace and sew around or glue around, whatever rocks your boat kind of thing. All right, that's in place. That's gonna go on top of this. I am going to round the edges here, but my paper thing isn't, paper rounder, corner rounder isn't gonna go through, you know, this way at least I can see where I need to cut. So I just use my scissors and now put this on top. Oh, look at that. Perfect placement. Maybe a little bit more down. I want it to be kind of the same as the ones I've done before, but I suppose this is a bit more than halfway up. And now I need to hold everything in place because, like I said before, I am going to take this to my sewing machine. And because this is like exact size, it can move. I don't want it to move. If you use lace, which is much bigger, then it's easier because you just sew around and then you cut the excess off. But I'm doing it this way just because for some strange reason I like to make my life harder today. Banjo streaming. I think I woke him up. I'm sorry, Banjo. All right, everything is in place and ready for me and my sewing machine. So I'm going to start here and sew all the way around, and you shall see me doing it, but I will speed it all up. All right, perfect, look at that. And chop this off. And now next thing I like to do, and I kind of did it with all of them, is I like to add something up the top, because again it just brings everything into balance. Even though this doesn't look bad just on its own like this, I think you can see when you have something on top as well, it just looks a little bit more balanced, I suppose. So I have this little trim, that's what I'm going to use. Even though it's mostly hidden by the bow, you can see it up here when I point it out, but I'm going to use it anyway. So that goes, look how cool that looks, beautiful. So that goes there. I'm going to sew this on, excellento, and now I'm going to punch a hole right there, very conveniently in the middle of that flower, and I'm going to grab a little bit of some type of a ribbon, sari, silk, whatever this is. All right, that goes through the hole like so, and now I'm going to tie a knot just like that, and then a bow. Excellent, look how cool that looks. And now we can get rid of all the, even though I like how that curls, but anyway, started cutting now, and now I'm gonna have to commit. And there we have it. You can do this with paper, obviously. It doesn't have to be fabric and lace, but here it is as an option, fabric and lace. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love this one. But there is more to show you, so we shall move on to idea number 5. We are up to idea number 5, which is elasticized. Elasticized, this one goes around the whole book. By the way, this is a tutorial that I did on camera, obviously, it's a tutorial. If you want to have a look, this side note, this is using a hot glue gun and paint to create this method. I did a tutorial on this, and I also did a tutorial on this binding separately. I'll link both below, but we are discussing the elasticized option. And here you can see this is like a cover of a journal. Let's say, imagine there's a journal here, and you have an option to have this elasticized thing. I'm sure you've seen these before, but they can be applied to your book. You can put it all the way around your book and keep it closed. It can be a closure for your book like this one, or you can have it on the front cover. It's got this elastic, and you have your pen in there. It's a pen holder. And these are done different. Like this one here it was done exactly the same way as what I've just demonstrated with these. The only difference is that it's done with paper and not fabric and lace. So there you have it. All right, let me show you how to make these. For this idea, of course, you need a little bit of elastic. This is actually all the elastic I have left. And now first we're going to do this one, and we're going to make the pen holder exactly the same way as the very first idea that I've shown you. So we are folding it in 3s. Okay, perfect. Now this one's gonna come out, or it can go in, totally up to you. Like, you know, if you have double-sided paper, you fold it out and you'll see the other side of the paper. If you fold it in, you know, you get the drift there. All right, so this one is folded out. And then this one also. Okay, so there's the pen holder. I'm gonna ink the edges. You can round the corners, make it pretty, whatever. Here we go. All right, now I will show you first. Well, you can't really see. Can you see the elastic is actually on the inside? It's not visible like this. So what I did is, first of all, you need to measure how much elastic you need against whatever book you're going to use it, but it's elasticized, so really it doesn't matter. Let's say I want to use it on this cover, so I need about this much elastic. Actually, that's all that I have. All right, so I've measured my elastic. Next thing I want to do is kind of mark where the visibility begins. I just put a little dot there, and I can see My little dot is right there, so I need to put my elastic anywhere below the dot. So I'm going to do 2 slits, one up the top and one down the bottom. I'm going to do little markings here of my folds just so you can see. I can see it, but you might not be able to. So those are my markings, and I want my elastic right in the middle. So this is about the middle, and I'm going to have a little slit here and a little slit somewhere here. I'll draw lines so that you can see, but again, you see that? Lines. And now take my X-Acto knife and make little slits. Grab your elastic and go in from the inside to the outside with one end, and then grab the other end, and now go from this side to the back. So here's what we have. The elastic is on the inside, and when everything is closed, you can't see that elastic on the inside. Okay, now what we need to do is secure the elastic. So at this point, if you wish, you can do what I'm going to do, which is this here. The seam is hidden on the inside of this little piece of paper. Or you can have the seam actually on the inside, so it's hidden in here. The reason why I didn't do it that way is because when you have 2 pieces of elastic, it creates more bulk. And I think you don't want to have a lot of bulk on the inside because of the pen. That's the only reason why I decided to have it on the outside. But by all means, you can have your seam on the inside of the pen holder, and then you have your elastic at the back. Okay, so that's an option. I'm just going to stick with what I've done before. So here's what I'm going to do. Pull the elastic tight so that my seam is kind of in the middle here. And before I do anything else, I want to hide, or rather seal, glue this down, because you don't want the elastic to do this. You want it to be down, flat. You can see this at the back. Okay, so I just covered it with a piece of paper. Going back into my offcuts folder, I'm going to find a piece of paper for the back, and perhaps I'll use this, why not? And I need to cut it down to this size, perhaps a little bit smaller. So just marking where I need to cut and trim it down. Ink the edges, and now I need to glue that on top like so. But before I do that, I'm going to glue the elastic down. Perhaps use a little bit of masking tape to keep it in place. Can't hurt, right? Perfect. And now you guessed it, we glue this on top of this. And really get that glue all the way to the edge, especially top and bottom edge. And glue down. And really glue down, like really press down. And the same as what we did with the paper clips before, you really want to get rid of any of that gapage there. So like really press it in, really get in there. And that way you ensure a nice finish, like it's neat. You can see that, very neat. If you spend a little bit of time, then you get that perfect kind of a look. Okay, now that that's done, we can at this stage go ahead and glue this. First I will glue the flaps down, well, this flap down, then I'm going to glue this edge down, and now glue this flap down, and now glue this shut. So I kind of start gluing on the inside here. You can see that this needs to be open, so no glue above this section here. So I can go ahead and pop some glue there, and then over here and down the bottom. You can like glue the whole thing down if you want. So we've added the elastic, great. And now we need to close this. So I'm gonna grab my, whatever I'm using, journal cover, wrap this around and just check kind of where, you know, I wanna attach them. I'm going to sew through this, just hold it in place. If you don't have a sewing machine, you don't wanna sew this, then you can just staple it together. So totally up to you, just need to attach them together. And here it is, my little seam is sewn together. Get rid of all this unnecessary thread. And now, of course, we want to kind of hide that. So first I'm going to get rid of unnecessary bulk. and I have this left over. It goes with the paper that I used at the back, so chop it down. And I'm gonna fold this paper around the elastic. I want it to be in the middle, of course. Okay, that's looking good. I just need to really cover the front and the back, so I'm gonna chop this off, and there we go. I'm just gonna ink the edges so the white isn't so obvious. And I want this fold on the inside, so I'm going to put it around my thing, if that makes sense. This is going to be visible when it's on my journal, so I don't want the, you know, I don't want that kind of up there. Just to show you on this one, when that is around your journal, you see how that looks quite neat, but the inside, the fold is in there, so it's, you know, that's why I do it that way. And again, just make sure that it's in the middle. It doesn't have to be, I just like it like that. And now I'll take it to my sewing machine and just sew a straight stitch around. Again, you can just use glue all the sides down, and that's, you're good to go, but I'm going to use my sewing machine. Here I am at my sewing machine. Now this is a little bit difficult to maneuver around because you have this bit in your way, but we're just gonna do it and get it done kind of thing. You might worry that it's a little bit too thick, because after all I have 2 layers of elastic and 3 layers of paper that I'm sewing through, but I'm fine with that. My sewing machine is fine with that, so here I go. Okay, and done. And here we go. The pen, elasticized pen holder is ready to go. And now you can put it on your journal and pop a pen in there. And would you look at that? Nice and beautiful, pristine, neat looking little pen holder. All right, so since I've actually run out of elastic, I don't have any elastic to show you how I actually did this one, but it's very easy. I can talk you through it. I didn't do any of the slitting kind of thing. All I did with this one is, if we go back to the previous project that I've shown you, which is the fabric and the lace, all I did here is, instead of fabric, of course, I used paper, and paper, no lace or fabric on this. And then I took my thread, elastic, measured how much I need, of course, and I glued the 2 open ends onto the back of my paper. I have this little bit of elastic to show you, so you can imagine I glued this section here, and then I took the other piece, which is much longer than this, and glued it on this side, just like so. And then I have my elastic here, and then over the top of that I glued an extra piece of paper, just like what we've just done over here. And then I took it to my sewing machine and I've sewn all around. Meanwhile, I also had the pocket thing happening for the pen. So I had 3 pieces. I had this piece of paper, and I had this piece of paper, and the extra piece of paper that I put on top, and I'm gluing them all together. And then what happens is, I hope this is making sense. I really hope it's not confusing. You have your elastic and it's hidden on the inside, and it's not going anywhere because of the sewing. It's there to stay. So that's how, I'm sorry that I can't actually show you. I don't actually have any more elastic in my stash. Okay, I have one last thing to show you, which is the book page pen holders. This is a whole lot of fun. I do have to say that at times, this, especially this one here, kind of reminded me of a coffin. I know that's not very nice, but Halloween is coming up, so there's an idea. And now that I said it, you're probably seeing it, but you can always kind of have the point to the side, and so it kind of looks less like a coffin. I don't know, did you think that when you saw? It's just this one here that reminds me of that. Anyway, this is so easy to do because we're just folding book pages and using our book pages. You can use magazines, you can use scrapbook paper, anything really for this. And you know how long I have had this on my desk? It's really full of dust. I've had this on my desk for months, maybe even 6 months. I just folded a piece of paper. You can see that's all there is to it. You can fold it down just like that, and you have a little pen holder. I'm going to do one on video, of course, but it's a cute little thing, isn't it? I don't know, is it? Do you think? I think. And I find that it's probably better to use 2 book pages rather than 1. So some of them, like this one here, 1 book page, I feel like it's a little bit fragile, and then most of the other ones 2 book pages. And in fact, it's quite a nice effect when you have 2 book pages, because when you're folding, they do kind of move, and then you can see it just adds more charm to use 2 book pages. So let me show you how to fold. Now when you start folding, some folds are going to look good, others will not. Chuck them in the bin and just keep trying. All right, so here we go. We have 2 pages here. I'm going to put them together, and the first fold I kind of do just like this. So we have just a tiny little slant. Maybe this one isn't going to work. If it doesn't work, I'm going to put it in the bin, and then you just keep folding, and here we go. All right, I'm not sure that I like this one because I would like the bottom to be a little bit more narrow, but you see the concept. That's your little pen holder. Let's try another one. All right, here we go. So first fold, we're leaving a little bit of space here, and then you just kind of follow that fold and see where it takes you. Maneuver it around, you know. All right, here's this one. You see that? Not bad, not bad. I think I can do better. Each one is going to look different, which is perfectly fine. In fact, it's even more fun that way. All right, let's do one more. All these books have some type of markings on them, which is probably why they were discarded by my local library. So I'm not destroying books here, all right? These books were destined for the incinerator. So I do not feel bad. All right, let's fold. Fold away, my dear, on an angle kind of, you know. And you don't have to make the folds, like you don't have to press it down until you're satisfied with how it looks. Maybe just press down that first fold and then fold around, kind of, you know, you've seen me, I don't know what the right word is, but only press it down when you're kind of happy with the final result. Okay, this looks all right. I like this to not go in a point. We don't want that because then there's no space for the pen. Okay, now, where do you go from here? As you've probably noticed, I do like to sew around. If you don't have a sewing machine, of course, I always say use glue, you know, or skip this project altogether. If that's the issue, like if that's a big issue, I don't have a sewing machine, then if you don't want to use glue, then skip the project, right? Before I start gluing anything down or taking it to my sewing machine, I like to ink the edges that are going to be visible so I can see which edges are visible. You see that? It's looking mighty fine. I have some ripped edges here. Perfect. Even better. Even more fun, right? Look at how cool that looks. Ink over here, ink over there, ink everywhere. At this point, this is where we're at. This is going to be the pen space, okay? I like to fold this to the back. It really doesn't have to be folded to the back, I suppose. I can just leave it as it is. I don't know why I've actually folded all of them to the back, so I have this straight bottom, but it's not, you know, not necessary. But anyway, I'm gonna do it. Maybe I'll just do a little fold. And now I take it to my sewing machine and I sew all the way around. If you don't want to sew, of course, you can staple down here and just add a little bit of glue over here and glue that to the back, or glue this whole section down to the front and then glue that to the back, and you're done. You don't need a sewing machine, but I'm gonna use mine. Back at the sewing machine, I didn't glue anything down. I'm just going to sew all the way around. I changed my thread. I have brown top thread and I didn't change the bottom thread, so it's just still white from the previous project. And starting here in the corner, and done. Would you look at that? Nice and easy and simple and I can think of quite a few different things that I can use this for. But there's your little pen holder. In goes the pen. Nice. Look, and then of course you can go to town with embellishing. So I'll just show you what I have here to give you ideas. I just, in all of them, most of them really, I just kind of glued something around. Once the pen is in, I suppose it doesn't even matter if you glue it around when the pen is in or before you put the pen in. All right, this one's just got a little bit of ribbon, and then this one has a little bit of this and that, you know, and then this one again, ribbon. I mean, it really doesn't need much. And then this one just has a flower that's glued on top, nothing at the back, and that's it. Look at that. What do you think? Such a cute little idea, doesn't take much time or effort, and I'm thinking that these would look really nice as flat pockets in a journal. And then you can have either a flower sticker or some pressed flowers sort of coming out, or I don't know, lots of things. I do have to say that this is something that you can't really glue on top of your journal cover. This is more like I said before, it doesn't have to be a pen holder. It can be a flat pocket inside a journal. Just that idea on its own is pretty cool. Or you can make little packets. If you want to gift pens, I think that's a beautiful idea to gift. Like something like this, for example, something a little bit special. Gifted for Christmas. You can get these quite cheap. They don't have to be expensive pens. They're fancy little pens. And there's your little gift idea for Christmas. Christmas is on my mind because it's not really on my mind, but it's coming up, you know. And yeah, this is a nice little stocking filler idea. All right, let's recap. First, we did the basics. We used 6x6 paper, and then we used any size paper, and we did different folds here. And that was idea number 1. Idea number 2 was also using 6x6 paper and making a narrower and a different type of a fold once again. Idea number 3 is getting a little bit more elaborate, and we're using what we've learned previously to create the paperclip pen pockets. And of course, we've spoken about all the extra little details that you can add. Idea number 4 was the fabric and lace. Idea number 5 is the elasticized goodness over here. And idea number 6 is using the book pages and creating book paged pen holder goodness. And that's it from me today. I hope that you feel inspired. Leave me a comment. Let me know which one of these is your favorite. Which one is the easiest to make, do you think? Have you made any before? I personally, out of all of these, think that this one here must be my favorite. But I do like the simplicity and the ease of making them with book pages as well, even though the book page one isn't probably kind of the sturdiest one. It's not something that you're going to have with you for years to come, if that makes sense. Whereas something like this is very sturdy, and it's going to serve you for, I don't know how long. It really depends on how you use your journal, I suppose. So anyway, I'm going to leave it here today. I hope you feel inspired once again. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.